Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cozy Content Corner, or welcome to the Cozy Content Corner if this is your first time joining us. Today, I am joined by the ever so vibey Jennifer Curfman. And a little bit about Jennifer before we start, y'all. These are her words, not mine. So any self-deprecating humor was written by Jennifer. So she is the owner of Untamed Creative, host of the Unhinged Biz Podcast, and strategist for solopreneurs who want to build an authentic business simply by doing what they love. She looks terrible in stripes. Again, her words, not mine. Knows way too much
True.
about TV sitcoms and will always say yes to ordering a pizza, which honestly, me too. Jennifer, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's funny you say self-deprecating because I'm like, they're just facts.
Yeah.
I should never wear a stripe. It's just 100% true. Not a bad thing.
No, not a bad thing. And I feel like Jennifer sounds so formal. I never call you Jennifer, but we're gonna do it
Oh,
for
yeah, that's just,
we did it for the sake of the bio.
you know what's weird? When I introduce myself to somebody, that's what I always say. And I don't really care if it gets changed, but that's just
Yeah.
like how I introduce myself in real life. And then do with it what you will.
Yeah. Okay. So funny name thing from me is so people can pronounce my name two ways, even though it's like the most basic white name in the world. So they could say
Right.
Sarah or they could say Sarah. And I never introduced myself as Sarah because that is how my mom would say my name if I was in like deep shit. She would be like, Sarah.
Oh,
Blah, 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 blah. And so I always think that like Sarah sounds so much like lighter but people are always confused, like especially people from like the Midwest. They're like, what is
I
Sarah?
was going to
I'm like,
say.
it's Sarah, like the most basic name. You have now created this brand, the Unhinged Biz Podcast, the Unhinged Biz membership, and it's really
Yeah.
about not following the way that everybody else does shit, but still having a successful business. Can you get
Yeah.
into a little bit about like the thought behind it and the movement behind it?
Yeah, I kind of knew I had a hunch we would talk about this today, so I was like bubbling on it because I feel like everybody says to be polarizing and like have, you know, your niche or whatever. And it's okay to repel people because you're attracting the right ones if you're repelling the wrong ones, yada yada. So when I latched onto this word of unhinged, I just felt like the people who don't get it won't get it, and that is okay, because I feel like the most fun that I've had is within the last however long I've been, building these two things, 3 months, we'll say. And I think it's because I just gave myself permission to not care what people are going to perceive this as. And what I've noticed is that when some people hear unhinged, they think, yikes, you're a mess. Which is not true, because I am in certain aspects of everything. Like that's
Same.
partially true. Right. And so if you're not unhinged in some sort of way, like tell me your secrets, Amy Porterfield.
Yeah.
But like but like I'm sorry, I think she's great, but I also feel like she's like a Stepford wife of online business.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel so drawn to the fact of like I can be unhinged and I can also like do really cool stuff. So when I talk to people who hear unhinged and they're like, oh my, immediately yes, like I like whatever it is, I'm in. Which happened when I launched the podcast. People were like, where do I subscribe to this? I need to know like what's going on. And those people are hearing it and they're thinking, thank God there is somebody who is just doing stuff and testing things out and being honest about the experience. And not that I'm not the only person to be doing that, obviously, but it's really fun to just show up and play around. And I have this thing like on my whiteboard, and I think I've talked about this before, but I have this thing where I'm like free play to 250K. Like that is my only mission. I just want to be in free play mode, and I just want to make a cool 250K, and that's all. Like that's all I'm trying to do. So the podcast has become kind of me talking to other people who are on that same journey. And then soon I'm going to start doing like solo episodes where I'm just like recording myself, just, you know, kind of like a diary of sorts. And so that has been just really liberating, honestly.
Yeah. And I told Jen that I want sweatshirts that say a cool $250,000 on them.
Oh, okay.
Because
I'll write it
down. Like I so stand behind that too. Like I really don't give a fuck about what other people are doing. And if I could have fun and
Yeah.
if I can be myself in like the true definition of being myself, meaning like sometimes like I'm not putting a bra on that day. Sometimes I'm gonna like show my colorful vocabulary. And like if I can do that and make an impact on people's lives and make a living doing it, then I am happy. And I don't need to be making millions and billions of dollars.
Yeah. In fact, I don't want to, because new level, new devil. I don't want to know what's going on up there. I just want to stay in my little cozy burrito on the couch.
She wants to stay in her cozy content corner.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I want to stay in the triple C and just hang out there and love it, you know, live, laugh, love, until I can't no more.
Yes. Okay. So for people that still need to grasp this idea of like free play and unhinged, like what are some of the things that you have changed in the way that you go about your business that you used to do that were maybe a little bit more rigid, that didn't feel right? Talk to us about that.
I have a few. One is I have an alter ego.
Okay, do tell.
And I've talked about this before, and I also have a workshop on this, I think. Yes, I definitely do. It's on my website. It's $9. So anyway, I have a workshop on this, but all you have to do when you're making your alter ego, because some people are like, oh, then you're like not really being yourself if you're embodying this other person. No. It's still you, but it's the fearless version of you. So what would the fearless version of you do when you're recording TikToks and Reels, when you're writing emails to your list, when you're creating like a new offer, or what, you know, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to do, what would the fearless version of that person do? So, yeah, I have one. She has a name. She has like a whole persona. And whenever I'm feeling like, yeah, her name is Violet Moonstone, in case anyone cares.
Yes.
But that is something that has really helped me, because I need to, you know, no one's here, no one's watching me. So when I am distracting myself by doing other stuff that's not really helping me, it's really helpful to have that to go back to, where I'm like, okay, what would Violet do right now? Would she be doom scrolling when, you know, you could be writing a handful of emails? So yeah, I always come back to that. Obviously I'm not perfect. I definitely do a doom scroll, at least once a week.
Me too.
So there's that.
Yes.
But then there's also, oh, I have another one, but I lost it. Well, the other one is I decided that I could tell which offers, like why I wasn't selling certain offers, and then how I was feeling when I did sell them. So I was like checking in with my just physical reaction to stuff when I was like, okay, I'm going to write an email that sells whatever, like we'll say a full website writing project. And it just felt clunky coming out. And it felt clunky in my chest. And it just felt clunky all over the place. And so I knew that that was maybe something I shouldn't be doing anymore. Or maybe I just need to change the structure of how I help people achieve that. So that has been extremely helpful, which is how this membership was born, was because I was just like, man, I'm craving connection with people, and I'm craving like idea mixing. That was a void that was happening. So I just needed to create something to fill that. And and it's working.
Yeah. So have you like completely restructured your offers? Like, for those that don't know, Jen is a copywriter. So
Yeah.
have you changed those services? Are you still offering them?
Um, to answer your question, yes, I have fully changed everything
Yeah.
because I just knew that I couldn't carry on this way. Was I still selling stuff and still like writing stuff for people and like making money that way? Yes. But I knew long term, like if I kept on that way, I knew I was going to burn out, because I was an employee doing this work
Yeah.
2 years ago. I was a copywriter for an employer. I left that job because I wanted to make my own rules and like not listen to what someone else wanted me to do. I started getting clients who tell you what they want and then you do it. And in this specific work that I do, I have to pretend to be them.
Yeah.
And that didn't feel good. After a certain point, I was like, I don't want to pretend to be somebody else. I want to be if I'm pretending, I want it to be the best version of myself, the fearless version of myself. And so I started moving away from like done for you stuff, and I started moving into let me give you the structure of whatever it is, and then I'll prompt you, and then you can fill it in and I can review it for you. And that was really cool. And then once in a while I'll take on done for you projects still, like if I've worked with the person before and I really know their voice and it's like,
Right.
it's a second nature to me. Great. But yeah, for the most part, I'm just like, I am so somebody who needs to be obsessed with the work,
Yeah.
or it is like pulling teeth getting me to do it. Um, so yeah, I've totally moved on. Like I'll still hear out certain projects and like see if I want to do them. But yeah, I've totally moved away from that. And now I'm focusing on just helping people structure their offers and their funnels and things like that based on like what they're naturally good at and what their natural strengths are. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just obsessed with it. It's so fun.
And I think that a lot of people need that. And like, that's where they miss the boat, is like, they could have a business, they could have a social media presence, but when it comes to making the business profitable, if you don't have offers that are going to sell, if you don't have offers that people want, then you've like hit a wall. And so I feel like that is something that I've started helping my clients with too. And I mean, I started out as a social media manager, and I don't do
Yeah.
any, I do it for one client who is my former grad school professor, and I will do anything and everything for her because she's wonderful. But other than that, I do not do that anymore because like you said, it was like it was pretending to be somebody else but you couldn't fully execute it because, of course, the client wants it a certain way and they're paying you to do it a certain way.
Mhm.
And it just didn't feel good in my bones either. So I've moved to like really helping my clients with like the content and the offers and like really building the foundation so the house can stand.
Yeah.
And it needs to be fun. I think that's where people miss the boat. Is it needs to be fun, especially if you are either a solopreneur or even if you have a team. If you are the face of the brand, it has to be fun or else you're not going to be able to sustain it.
And you're going to resent it. You're going to resent about it. And
Yes.
that's like what started happening to me. I was just like, I don't want to go to work today. Ew, I should be thinking that about my own shit.
Right.
So
About your own business.
yeah, so I was like, red flag. That's a red flag. And yeah, work can be easy. I think it's something else that's like a huge myth that, it has to be hard to charge a lot, or it has to be hard to like be worth it, or you have to whatever. But like it can be easy, and well, it obviously, yes, it can be fun. But something else I noticed is like, well, I felt like, oh, I'm good at this. Like this is the thing I'm good at, so I can't stop doing it. But I can you imagine? I'm a multifaceted person that I'm like good at a couple things at least. And so just because I'm good at something I don't have to make it my whole identity. And that was a big sigh of relief when I decided like, oh, actually I can still be really good. Because I mean, I know I'm good at what I do, and I can always improve. I always am improving, but I can still use those skills in a more effective way for my own mental health. And
Yes.
I just, that was so liberating to figure out. And I like when I say too that because when you're talking about how you were feeling about doing socials for other people, and now you're focusing on strategy and things like that, I feel like you and I are very similar in that way, where it's just like some people can embody others and like be them on the back end and like love it. And that's I think I thought I was wrong. Something was wrong with me because I didn't love it.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. It's just that I'm like wired differently. And there's these like archetypes that this woman, I'm gonna sound like a total weirdo right now, but I don't care.
No, that's
So
okay. We get
this
woo
woman,
woo over here.
yeah, and I feel like the least like crunchy granola person of all time. Like, please give me a Cheeto. However, I really believe in like energy in the universe and all that stuff. And so, anyway, so when I found earlier this year, I found this woman, Kendall Summerhawk, and she has a whole like, I don't want to say personality test, but kind of that's what it is. And anyway, so she developed like the 8 sacred money archetypes, but they apply to your whole fucking life, like really. And so when I found her, I was like, oh my God, thank you for telling me that I don't have to be a type A person to be successful. Thank you. And it's extremely similar to like the Enneagram or like Myers-Briggs or like that, where you can use that information about yourself to guide the rest of your life. But this one for me resonated so much more than the others. And so, yeah, once I realized that 1, there are more people like me, and 2, there's nothing wrong with me, and 3, like, yeah, I have some weaknesses in how I like naturally operate, but I also have strengths. So when you are aware of both, you can operate at a higher level by being mindful of like what you could sabotage yourself with, or what you could leverage to like get what you want or whatever. Yeah, that was just such an eye opener for me. And that's what I'm using to help people in the strategy side of the business now. And it's just like a fucking blast, honestly.
Yeah. And I used to think the same way. So I went to college, got my master's, went into my speech therapy job, and all of the people around me were so type A.
Mm.
And I mean, you kind of had to be in that situation. And so I thought that that carried over to all aspects of life, that like in order for you to get shit done and get shit done successfully, you have to be type A. But that's just not who I am to my bones. Like I have had so much fun, like having a looser schedule. I've had so much fun, like not setting rules. I've had so much fun playing. And I have never been more successful in my business than when I started to play, when I started to test things. Strategy is great and it's needed in certain circumstances. But I think so many people lose sight of how powerful it is to like fuck around and find out.
Yeah, I think the reason people avoid the FAFO is they don't want to look like they don't know what they're doing. So they're like, okay, if I put something out there that's like not ready, but if I try to sell something right now and nobody buys it, or there's a typo, or the link is wrong, or like whatever, I'll lose credibility, I'll lose trust, and no one will buy from me ever again, and I will be doomed. And I guess part of that could be true for some people. Like, you know, a couple people might be like, oh my God, I can't believe there was a typo. I'm out. Okay. More people exist. Like more.
And that person would not be for me because first of all, everything you just listed out, I have done. I have posted a wrong link. I'm the queen of typos. I've put offers out before they were even close to being ready. And I'm here to tell the tale. And nothing bad happened. Only good things happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's that it is that fear of the unknown that stop people from even like taking that action to put it out before it's ready, or taking that action to put it out before they've proofread it 40 times. Nothing is going to happen if you have a typo. Nothing. If you have a wrong link, I'm sure somebody will tell you and you'll fix the link. It is not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah, I think like the narrative that I've definitely, this is something I have truly thought is if I publish this sales page before it's ready, like before it has all the 1,000 sections, whatever, if I publish this, somebody looks at it, they're not impressed, they move on, they'll never buy this thing, and I will have lost them. Can I prove that to be true? No. I have absolutely no proof that is actually what would happen. And then I only have a limited amount of control over what that person thinks. Like I don't have any control over what they think, but I have control over what they see. So I can publish something that I'm at least proud of, that is true, and then I can improve it if I want to. But that's all I can really do, is just put something out that is true and see what happens.
Oh my gosh. And this just made me think of something unhinged and fabulous and a little messy that I've been doing in my business.
Okay.
I don't know if I've told you or I've showed you this.
I don't know. It doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. I have been loving and getting people to buy from a Google Doc sales page. It
Okay.
is
Tell me.
the best thing ever. It feels so good in my bones. Nobody has ever said, ew, gross. What is this? Why are you sending me a Google Doc?
Yeah.
people are like, oh my God, I love this idea. I'm stealing this. I have all the information I need and it's easy.
Yeah. What
I
are you
have,
selling on it,
okay.
please?
So I have sold a pop-up offer with a Google Doc sales page.
Okay.
And I just put my Black Friday offers for my past clients on a Google Doc sales page.
What are the price points of those things? Do they vary, or like
They
where are
vary.
we? Okay.
So the
Interesting.
lowest, yes, the lowest thing, you guys, I fucking love my Google Doc sales page. Um, because it means nothing about me that I'm presenting it on a Google Doc.
Mhm.
I'm presenting all of the information. It's quick, it's easy, it's skimmable. It's very, very easy for my customer to take the next step. So,
Mhm.
the lowest price thing on my Black Friday sales page is 250, and the highest price thing on my Google Doc sales page is 3K.
I love it.
Yes. And I would not have been able, and this is just me because I'm not a website girly. I don't
Yeah.
really use my website. I use like my link in bio provider Snipfeed, like way
Yeah.
more than I ever send someone my website. So for me, I probably would not have put those offers out into the universe because the tech would have overwhelmed me too much. Instead, I decided to just take imperfect, messy action, as much of a buzz phrase as that is, just stick with me. Um, and I put it out into the universe and people bought and people are buying from that Black Friday sales page. And I think that that is like a perfect example of not following rules.
Yeah. I remember Jordan doing that during the summer, I think. Jordan Gill.
Hmm.
I was seeing a lot of those and I was like, I don't have anything to sell right now, but that's a cool idea. And so then when I launched the membership, I have just been doing checkout pages in Thrivecart because I use Thrivecart for everything. So I just have been doing checkout pages. I don't want a whole fucking long ass funnel thing. I just want the information that you need and then put in your info if you want it. And yeah, it's just like, why am I going through all the trouble and preventing myself? Because a lot of people, I think, too, feel like I need a full sales page to like look legit and it has to be gorgeous and it has to have 85 sections. And, and I've written those pages for people, I've charged money for those pages. But
Hmm.
I'm saying it's okay. Don't have one, right? It's your proof. I am proof it's not necessary for, I would say, like for longevity. Yeah, maybe get it designed, maybe get it fully written. If it's gonna be like an evergreen thing, great. But if that's what's preventing you from putting something out there, no.
Yeah. And in the spirit of like tech friendly, easy, simple things, I also use Thrivecart. That's where I host the membership. I do
Mm-hmm.
have an official like sales checkout page for that I use on Thrivecart, and I'll put my link in the show notes because as of right now, and I think it's actually changing soon, but as of right now, it's a one-time fee for Thrivecart. So it's really good for
Yeah.
business owners that uh want to host a course or a membership in there. It's
Mm-hmm.
great for affiliate links.
Yep.
So I'll link it below. It's super easy. And again, I'm not a techie person. So that was nice for me to discover like a super easy like platform like that.
Yeah, I've used it for over a year and it's great. And now I host all kinds of workshops and stuff in there on like the learn thing. I think I need to pay another like an upgrade fee though to have the learn part, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm here for a one-time fee. I'm here for um I just duplicate the design of like every checkout page I have.
Uh,
It's just from somebody something else that I already did. And that was from like a template that I got from a bundle or something like that. I don't know. I don't need to be messing around with design at all. So yeah, just keep it simple. Again, it's allowed to be easy. So I'm just going with that energy.
Yeah, and it's so true. Like it's allowed to be easy. And another thing that I feel like I say all the time is simple sells.
Mm,
Make it
yeah.
simple as fucking high for yourself, but also for your audience to like consume your stuff, for them to take the next step. Like it doesn't need to be this big fancy to do. Like make it really simple for everyone involved.
Yeah, that's so true. I think I was talking about this yesterday, maybe, on Instagram, but like when you're creating an offer or when you're creating um a whole new business, I don't know, when you're creating anything and it feels really good, and I know this is like everyone's talking about like, well, how does it make you feel? No, if it actually like physically makes you feel like yummy, it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else to be true.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to make sense to everybody. It has to make sense to the right people. And
Yes.
that's just my vibe throughout everything. Like if you are in a relationship that everyone, all your friends hate him, okay, but you like him, so it doesn't have to make sense to them. If you are in like a job that doesn't on the outside seem like it's maybe maybe you're overqualified for it or something, but you really love it, okay, it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else to be true for you.
Right.
um it just is. It puts me at so much ease when I'm like, is this right? Like what does someone else like think? No, it doesn't matter, because your body tells you what you need and want.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure it does. So if people are listening and they're like, okay, I want to be a little more unhinged. I want to be a little bit more playful in my business. Like, what are some actionable steps that they can take?
Okay, so first, obviously, make your alter ego, like write it out. I don't know, can AI do this where you like say what you want and it'll like generate a picture or something? I don't know if that's a thing, but yeah, give yourself a little bio and like an ideal day of, what that person does. And then I'm terrible at like time management.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like planning. However, I do like intentional time. So something that I do is have like an ideal week layout thingy in my calendar. And obviously things move around, but I will like have a block of time that's just like free play mode. And I'm just like, when I have this, whenever I see that on the calendar for the week, I am just going to mess around. I'm just going to see like, okay, is there something that I already created that like maybe never saw the light of day because I was afraid of it? Or maybe I have, I've been like noodling on something and maybe I'll just like try to start creating it and see how it feels. I have an entire list on my whiteboard in my office of just like, I think of like the name of an offer that I think would be really cool, and I'll just write it down. But like then I
Yes.
don't do anything. So yeah, so then maybe I will just start kind of bringing that one idea to life. Or I will like leave myself Voxer messages like to myself, and just kind of see what comes out, just stream of consciousness type of thing, and just see like what am I suppressing right now, And then if something cool comes out of that, then great. But I like having time that I'm giving myself to not feel guilty about like fucking around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's something.
it is. It is. And like an example for me was like when I first started my business, I would take live calls all throughout the week at no
Oh
matter
my
what
God.
time was good for the other person. And it
Same.
would stress me the fuck out. Like you have no idea.
Yeah.
So, something that I did recently, probably at the beginning of this past year, was I blocked off my calendar on Mondays and Fridays for live calls because
Mm-hmm.
it stressed me out. And it also allowed me to like sit down and do work without any interruption. And it could be
Yeah.
great interruption, right? Like our chat is a great interruption. But still, like if you are someone like me, like I get distracted very easily. Like I once I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. If you get me out of the zone,
Mm-hmm.
like we're probably done for the day. So
Mm-hmm.
like really check in with yourself. Again, we're getting a little woo-woo here, but like check
Yeah.
in with yourself, check in with your energy, what feels good for you, and then do it. Like take action, play, and see how it feels because you're not going to know. Jen was talking about your ideal week. You're not going to know if that's really your ideal week until you try it. So you have to try
Yeah.
different things, be a little bit less rigid with yourself,
Yeah.
and just kind of fuck around and find out a little bit.
Yeah. I think that some people, again, some archetypes need less rigidity and some need more. I needed more. That's why I have the ideal week. Because if I didn't have something visual, I wouldn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I would wait until the last possible minute to do a task, especially if I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, but I would wait and wait. And then I'd be like, trying to do it. And so now I'm like, okay, no, I have this chunk of time that I'm going to do things. And I had to physically like reframe that as like, this will give me more free time and more
Yeah.
fun because I already have the boring stuff scheduled. And so I know, well, I have fun stuff scheduled too, but like I already know, okay, in this in this hunk of time, I'm going to do those things I don't want to do. So, it's the amount of scheduling that I need, or like amount of rigidity that I need. But some people, I think it would be safe to say some people need to have those scheduling like blocks of time where they are just messing around.
Yeah.
Um, and if you're working, okay, hear me out. So if you're somebody who loves structure, my challenge, Double Dare 2000 challenge for you
Oh,
would be,
such a good throwback.
you know, I can't help it. I have to name at least like 5 TV shows or like while I'm just on a podcast. I can't help it. Anyways, so if you're somebody who's really, really good at structure, I would challenge you to schedule, 1 hour a week where you're messing around. If you're somebody like me who was like, I'm just gonna float around, la-ti-da, I would challenge you to do what I do, which is just have literally like 3 chunks throughout the day and the rest can be open. I have morning routine, client work some days, other days it's like content stuff, and then email writing. That's it. That's all my structure. And then if I know that there's something else I want to spend time on that week, I can just add a little chunk. But like, think about it. You only have 112 hours of work time throughout the week. Is that right, math? 8. It doesn't matter. If you're
My
sleeping
work,
8 hours a night
yeah.
and you have the rest of the day, you have a finite amount of time. And so do the opposite of what you would normally do. Like,
Yeah.
and just see how that feels for you, because it could be super fun, and it could unlock a whole other path for you. And yeah, this is just like, I mean, I could talk about this kind of shit all day long, because I don't care about productivity. That's not interesting to me. I care about intentionality and fun and smiles and TV
Yeah.
time.
Oh, same. Me too. That's another unhinged thing that I do is I watch Sister Wives during my workday because I can.
Sister Wives. I used to watch that in college with because my roommate was obsessed with well, we lived in LA, so it was like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We definitely went to Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant at one point.
Oh,
She was
I
obsessed
went
with
to
her.
all of them when I was there. I love her.
um Anyways, so yeah, Sister Wives, that was one of them. And I was like, I, you know, really just brings you back to not everybody does things the way we do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very extreme example.
An
But if
extreme
anyone
example.
listening wants to chat about Sister Wives and spill the tea on how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs Cody is, my DMs are open.
I'm now accepting messages about Sister Wives. I'm
About
not.
Cody
I don't know
Grant.
anything about it, but Sarah's.
Oh, all right, Jen. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I love our conversations as always, but I'm glad that other people get to listen this time.
Me too. Yeah. And also, Sarah has an episode on my podcast that your fans
Yes.
go listen to, where yeah, we weirdly had like a totally different conversation on that one. So yeah, go listen to both.
Yeah,
And
I'll link her
tea.
podcast below. So you guys can listen to that episode as well. But if people want more Jen in their lives, where can they find you?
Well, Instagram is like the only thing I have brain capacity for. So there's that.
What is the username on there so people can find you?
It is untamed.creative. I don't know. And then what else? I don't know. I
You
have
have
a
a great
contact
email
form.
list.
Oh yeah, I have an email. I forget about that. Yeah, I have an email list with the newsletter that I send all, like, whenever I want. Actually, I'm getting really good at sending them regularly,
You are.
but those are pretty fun. I recommend. And then I also have this contact form that I've been testing it out, and it's just like kind of the best because I love voice note stuff. And so I have a video ask on my contact form, and it's basically just like, what do you want to know? And we just go back and forth through video ask.
I've
And
never
yeah,
seen this.
it's on my contact form.
Is it in your link in bio?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, I have to look.
I'm like, is it? I don't know, but it is. It is. I just added it. Yeah, it's kind of like the video version of Voxer, and yeah, it's just the best way for somebody to be like, SOS.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll chit chat about it.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so go follow Jen at untamed.creative on Instagram and go join her email list. It's going to give you really good inspo about what personality packed emails look like. And I'm not just talking about putting a GIF in your emails, I'm talking about actually making your emails sound like you. And she does that really well. So go join her email list as well. And Jen, thank you so much again for being on. Pleasure as always. And to everybody listening or watching, I will see you on the next one.